Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86, and today I'm taking a look at Divoom's Ditoo, D-I-T-O-O, D2, D2, I don't know. Anyways, they did send this to me, but I accepted this because mainly I've got something I'm working on, which is like doohickeys for your battle station, and I was like, this fits in perfect because most people know Divoom in the sense that they create things. Hell, I could be saying their name wrong. Maybe it's Divoom. Who knows? It's the whole 8-bit do thing all over again. Which, by the way, comparing this with the 8-bit do speaker because it's something in its weight class. Anyways, what I was going to do was just kind of cover this device and sort of talk about, you know, accents to your, like I said, battle stations, your desk, your work area, your little at-home playground. And this was something that came up, and actually it was a couple of other things that they make that come up too. Now, it's a heftier price tag, and the thing is, this does a lot more than your typical little device or doohickey that you might put on your desk. It's not just a light, it's not just a clock, it's not just a little stackable game. It is a ability to really just kind of do a little bit more, and that's what I wanted to talk about. There was more layers to this onion to peel than would have been, the other video would have just pretty much been about this for the most part. So let's do a video about this and cover some of that now. So first and foremost, it's a speaker. It's a little portable Bluetooth speaker that I get about 7.5 hours out of before I need to charge it. It takes a while for it to charge. Every time I plugged it in and kept telling myself to go look at the light, every time I came back it was still on, and then I'd fall asleep or something. It does take roughly a couple hours to charge, to fully charge it, that is. For the most part, it's a pretty great little Bluetooth speaker. So we're gonna pause here and compare it to something in its weight class, which is the 8-bit do speaker. Come at me, nerds. It is 8-bit do, even according to the own company. I totally get why 8-bit do would make more sense than Nintendo. Anyways, that's a debate for another time in another video. Let's do a quick comparison so that you can hear what it sounds like in comparison with that speaker, because they both sound pretty good. Alright, that being done, now there's some other cool things to check out. You can do things like games on this. Now one thing too is backlit. I don't know if you can see that right here, it's backlit. So if we hold the button down, we can actually turn off the backlight and save a little bit of battery power when we're doing something like that. But if you wanted to go into modes, there are games. You use the lever to select, and then you can select the game, and you can play things like Tetris, which seems to really blow the minds of little children who have never really seen this game before. And if you hear that clicky clacky, that's another cool thing too. I thought that, you know, it was just a little mimicky keyboard right here, but this keyboard is actually Otemu Blue switches. They used real mechanical Otemu Blue switches on this keyboard, which gives it that clickety clackety sound. Now there are other things you can do, like setting your own graphics and artwork on it, and you can even pick things from a huge library that they have, which makes it kind of interesting. So I was playing around and looking for stuff, and there was a bunch of Among Us stuff that had popped up, so I made a little compilation of a couple things. Now, more than just doing that too though, you can actually go in there and customize your own stuff. This video is really kind of all over the place, isn't it? But when you have something like this, it's just really a nice little accent piece. It's just a matter of if any of their stuff is worth that price tag to you, because you can drop some money on some fun little Fanatic things like this. And I think while this is a fantastic thing, I think they've got some bigger stuff that's a little cooler. But this is pretty neat, and I really like the retro style and how it looks like a little computer. Me loving retro, that's something that kind of stood out to me. Is like, yes, I want this on my desk, I want this under my monitor, and that's where it's probably going to end up living for the rest of its little life. Streaming music to it's super simple. The setup for it was super easy. Just connect it to Bluetooth and play songs over your phone. It also has a micro SD card reader, so if you wanted to put a compilation of music on it and stick it in there, you can play it that way. It does charge and connect via USB Type-C, and USB Type-C is the way to go, so I'm 100% a fan of that. The speaker is upward firing, so when you're sitting down listening to it, the music comes out of the top. If anything is obstructing the upward firing motion of the speaker, then you're going to get that terrible muffled sounds. In the back, you have a little passive radiator back here for that bass boost sound, so you can get that bass sound from it, and it does a pretty good job. Now, if you noticed in that demo video where we compared it to the 8-bit do speaker, when things got a little loud and a little bassy, it kind of shook itself across the desk. This actually has rubber feet on the bottom that hold the desk really well, and it does have a pretty decent weight. Overall, I mean, it's a fun trinket kind of thing to have, a nice thing to have to accent your whole workspace, and it's something that I like a lot. I do definitely think that I'm going to look at getting the bigger one, the one that looks like an old school TV, because I like that. And I like the fact that there's a huge artist community. If you go in there, you could look for hours at different pixelated things people have made for the D2 or any of the other Divoom products, really. Setting it on there so that it's using the correct resolution of the D2 is probably what's going to work best, because some things made for the bigger ones are harder to look at, and it's harder to get a feel for what image you're actually looking at when you put it on there. I tried, some of them look kind of crappy. Now, the only reason I would say it's a hard push for somebody is that the price tag is a little bit up there, and that might not be something that you want to spend on that, but I actually enjoy having it as a clock there. It can be powered and worked while charging, so there's no problems with that. It's not going to die while it's charging. I mean, you can leave it plugged in, but the downside to that too is that the USB Type-C to charge it is on the side, so you got that kind of protrusion of the USB-C device while it's charging it, and I would have liked to have seen that in the back. I would even like something like Qi charging. If this was capable to be charged Qi charging, that would be excellent. I think that would be a really good idea, personally, but you know, they do what they want to do. Anyways, fun desk trinket, a little portable doodad, something I wanted to do a separate video on because there's a little bit more to it. You can set alarms on it, you can set your clocks on it, you can change the whole aesthetic and style of the pixelated stuff that you have on there to match what you want it to be. You can even create your own stuff, which is pretty cool. Now, something I also wish it would do is somebody would come up with a way to you know, report your YouTube subscribers, much like Lametric has. The way that Lametric does that is the #1 reason that I like the Lametric clock. And I wish I could do something similar with this. You can go in there and kind of set stuff and then change it over time, but it's not something that has any program that does any kind of auto tracking, at least that I know of. So if you know of something, post down below. And that's about it. You will see this again in another video, but I didn't feel like I was going to give it the optimal amount of what I wanted to cover with it in that video, so I wanted to do a separate one to kind of mention it, especially if you maybe somebody that's seen it and been like, do I want this? Is this something that looks good to me? I don't know. I mean, that's up to you. When it comes to decking out your own little workspace, your own battle station, your own little gaming paradise, that usually falls on that person to be like, what kind of money do I want to put into making it look good now? Because usually we want to put our money into what can I do to make it perform. Everything else comes second. And this is definitely something that comes second, but definitely something that's pretty cool. Anyways, you guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video I do, which will probably include this again.